Hello everyone, welcome to Silver. I was hoping to, yes, I was waiting for that bloody motorbike to go away. Now he's finally gone away after, obviously, he's a little short in some areas and decides that he wants to show off with his big exhaust. Welcome to Saudi Arabia, everyone, for round four of the championship here in Silver. And, well, last night's Grand Prix was a doozy, wasn't it? And of course, in gold, it is all square now, isn't it, between Immortal and Sam Swift Ninja. What a perfect start to the season. I must admit, after the opening two race in gold, I thought it was going to be a Sam Swift Ninja show, but it certainly isn't, as Immortal has really rained on his parade, hasn't he? Hello to you, Jin and Dennis. Evening, everyone. Good luck. Good stuff indeed. I am a little early, Dad, this evening because I thought that I'd go and time this perfectly because I've seen everyone was in the lobby. However, it looks like that the lobby decided to not fill up. However, I think tonight is actually a very well timed actually from Camera Racer because Camera Racer asked me last week, I think it was, when his 200th race was. And after getting out the old super duper spreadsheet, I realised that his 200th race is today. So it's like Camera Racer knew that it was going to be his 200th race today. So happy 200th race for Camera Racer in all-time ALR. So that is silver, bronze, and cobalt. Don't think it was cobalt. Silver, bronze. I think Formula 2 for 100% as well, and gold as well. So good stuff indeed there for Camera Racer. Also, this is 99th Grand Prix start as well tonight as well, which is really cool stuff indeed. 95th start tonight for our Nige. 149th Grand Prix start tonight for Gorda. 140th start for Farf, who I must say, is having a challenging season. And talking of challenging seasons, let's go for the drivers and the constructors stand-ins. It is like this, too good to miss. Duke leads 15 points in. So currently he's got a third position, a gap over Marky, who is second. He's had a very strong start, Marky has. His best start of his career in ALR thus far. Pretty impressive stuff indeed there from Marky. Can he keep it up? Nigel, as we mentioned then, of course, a milestone tonight then. 36 points, and this is the best start Nigel's had in a very long a while in his career. Is this the old Nigel back? Is he finally found some groove on these ground effect cars? And of course, Nigel's peak power, peak performance was certainly on the older generation of Formula One car, wasn't it? But it's great to see Nigel back up there in third position on 36 points. 25 points for May Ranoff. Good stuff indeed there for May Ranoff. A strong start as well. Tori in fifth position so far on 22 points in the Aston Martin. 20 points for Kiki. 19 for Jenner, of course, who got a ticket, early ticket to make it here. So that is dedication. Fantastic. R2 beat not racing tonight. He's in 8th position on 15 points. 14 points for Coop, Az and Soup. 12 for Luke, who completes the top 10. Kaidal on 10 points so far, but Kaidal certainly has the pace. Really impressive stuff indeed there for Kaidal. And then we have got who have we got? We got Vessier on 8 points also for Mr. Raging Bull, 5 for Riley, 5 for Camarasa. Happy 200 today for Camaro. We have got Irvine on 1 point, and so we got Gordo on 1 point as well. Drivers yet to score. Farf, Jay Hings, and Dan Dan. All three drivers have won. Have they? All three drivers have certainly got major accolades in Grand Prix racing, so good stuff indeed. Good stuff. And then Construction Championship, the Williams team leads the way, but only by a very slender margin of 9 points there. 68 points for the McLaren team. Then there's a mammoth gap of 31 points separates the McLaren and the Aston Martin there. Three of the four, no, it is three, it's three of the four Mercedes powered cars are leading the way in the constructors at the moment. And obviously Mercedes has a bit of an OP engine, maybe a sign of things to come in 2026 potentially. Having said that, though, the works Mercedes is all the way down to 7th moment, 75 points off the lead. Haas are in 4th, Red Bull are 5th, 34 points, Haas on 36. 16 points, again a massive gap there between the Red Bull and the Alpine. 16 points, 18 points separates the two teams, and Mercedes was mentioned in 7th on 12 points, 11 points for Raging Bulls. Raging Bulls? Sorry. Raging Bull has now got his own team, fantastic. Then we got Ferrari on 6, and on 5 points is the Kick Sauber team as well. So good stuff indeed. Thanks for the mention, says Jenna. Good luck, Silver, says Alexander. 200 race, and you still call him Camera. Camaro. Well, let's be honest about it. But my pronunciation of driver names is not my forte. What is my forte? I don't really know, to be honest. You would think that being an ALR commentator for 13 years, that I would probably know how to pronounce drivers' names, but no, I don't. But then again, I can't even pronounce my own name, so that's just it, really, isn't it? Anyway, nonetheless, let's go on with the show, shall we? Because I forgot to Google this, but is this the third or second longest track on the calendar? I think it's the third. Of course, it's 6.1 kilometers. It says there. I think Azerbaijan is slightly longer, and then I think after that it is then Spa. Am I right or am I wrong? Could someone please shout me down in the comment section? That'd be superb stuff indeed. I have got my sound on tonight as well, which is good stuff because that really upsets me. Cam Row. But I can't say that. I can't say it like that all the time, no Mushroom, because there's a lot of action. It seems to happen, and otherwise I'll be like trying to pronounce Cam Harrow's name whilst whilst there's some kind of shenanigans goes on there. I'm also very devastated because I thought it was the Belgian Grand Prix this weekend, but it's not. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be doing on the weekend. Then goodness gracious me, I might actually clean my flat. That ain't going to happen. Let's be honest about it. I'm very lazy. Actually, to be fair, I usually pay my sisters 50 quid each to clean my flat because I am not lazy. But there you go. Of course, as ever, the problem if I ever have any issues, I can't be bothered to do any hard work, and I just normally find some way of getting around it. Right, we are here in Saudi Arabia now. Fantastic stuff indeed. And let's get going then, shall we? For the start of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. I can't remember what the new Saudi Arabia track is. And when is it coming in? Is it 2028 or 2032? Or is that the World Cup years? I don't know, to be honest. That's probably not the World Cup years. I think it's the Euros, isn't it? It potentially is as well. Let's quickly talk about the form of the drivers, shall we? Because I do love to start on a positive. And let's start at the positive with the drivers on 0 points so far. First on my list is actually Farf, who's added a Poland start. I think this is the second or third season in a row now that Farf's had a really troublesome start. And of course, it's a different game as well this year. So I'm wondering if it's just the new era of Formula One cars. Maybe Farf has passed his prime potentially. Maybe he might have to hang up that racing helmet of his potentially for Farf, or maybe he just needs to get a bit more practice in. But or maybe he needs to actually stop having baths on Monday nights potentially. But anyway, whatever the case may be, Farf has been far from his best in the last couple of seasons, hasn't he? Why is my TV so quiet? But far for no points so far, unfortunately. To be fair, he would have got points in Bahrain, but he made a mistake on the last lap, didn't he? So that's a horror show there for Farf. But of course, other drivers that have yet to get off the mark. Then Dan, of course, the champion from bronze there. We was making a point about the champions from silver to gold having a couple of issues then, but Dan having a couple of issues as well coming up to silver. I remember last time he was in silver as well. Dan had a couple of issues there. I'm not sure if I don't think it's a performance issue for Dan. I'm thinking that I wonder if it's just the car performance there, because remember both Morris and Brabbitt have had troubles with that Haas car in gold, remember, and of course Brabbitt was on course for a top 10 finish before issues last night, and Morris was dropping down like a stone there, and of course Morris is a very good qualifier, don't get me wrong, but normally in race trim as well, he does not drop off the boil like that, so there must be something a bit untoward there with the car, potentially. There was a third driver that had no points either, and that was Jay Hings as well. Jay Hings, a former runner-up in bronze, and finished 4th in the last 2 seasons of silver, so mission critical. Mission critical, is it? We're already on round 4 of a 20-round season, so not mission critical yet for those 3 drivers, but I do feel that they need to start to think about turning their seasons around, and it needs to start here tonight then, or maybe in Miami next week. I do not know, to be honest. 50 quid and I'll clean it. Really? Will you do a better job than my sisters? Probably not, to be fair. Especially the younger one, Gary. she's very OCD with cleaning for some reason. I don't know why, to be fair, because her life's a complete mess. I'm forward going for 22-23. Gosh, I'm throwing shade tonight. For the 2032, will be I'll be worm food by then, says Sarah's Mushroom. Sadly, that is time against Mushroom, unfortunately. Here's Jinner. Time is never against Jinner, because Jinner is probably the quickest driver. I keep saying it every stream, every week. Jinner and Kiki, I think, the two quickest drivers, pound for pound, in terms of qualifiers. A 27.943 so far down for the Williams driver. Currently, that is the fastest, because that is the only driver that's set a time so far on the board. As you can tell, my observation skills are at an absolute peak on this Monday afternoon, and luckily it is not as sweaty as it was last night. Oh, it was vile when after I got off comms last night. Oh dear me. I actually wringed out my shirt and it was absolutely drenched. Happy 200 for Camaro. Of course, we talk about Mushroom being old. Of course, Mushroom having 300 Grand Prix, coming out to 300 Grand Prix. I think he's about 5 away. But Camaro is about 100 behind at the moment. Now he goes for the fastest. Kiki has gone fastest by 3/10 of a second. Now that's Mr. Raging Bull, who I've rechristened Racing Ball as a Raging Bull, is now 4th at the moment. But unlike, sadly, Mr. Raging Bull is not in the Racing Bull. He is in the Alpine at the moment, or is that Alpine? Of course, going to Mercedes engine next year, which is a Renault company going to have a Mercedes engine back there. Yes, words failed me. Riley goes 5th fastest then for Riley. Duke goes 4th fastest, but then we've got a lot of drivers coming across the line. Coop, as in Soup, going 6th fastest as well. Good stuff indeed there. It's, of course, we've had 9 cars on the board. Don't make that 10th, because May Ranoff has gone at currently pole position. McLaren, and that reminds me actually, McLaren had a clinic in Grand Prix racing last week. For the first ever time in McLaren's history in silver, they got a 1-2. May Ranoff, of course, winning the race with Markey in second. So far, McLaren have had 4 podiums between them. Of course, 2 for Markey, 2 for May Ranoff as well. There, 3 podiums so far for Duke. He has not failed to be on the podium so far. Duke currently down in 6th position now, so the Williams driver's got a bit of work to do at this moment in time. You're in IT, Sean. Turn your TV off and on again. My problem was that I couldn't find the remote controller, which wasn't very good. Was that shocking stuff indeed? Then, right, so we're just watching Tori, who's in 5th in the championship mode. Here comes Dan then, and let's go on board with Dan, shall we? Of course, the bronze champion from last season. Whilst we're on board, Dan, live chat equals mushroom chat. Then I can't help myself. Taking notes. Session 2, says Stephen. I gotta say though, Stephen, I feel weird calling you Stephen. I'm going to call you Anthony. To be honest though, I think it's quite selfish having 2 first names as your name. It's incredible. But Anthony, I must say, I'd be impressed if you learned anything last night, because apart from the fact is it was a one-stopper, I suppose. We didn't see what Lucas Percy could have done though, because he had issues in the final corner. And I must admit, I don't really know what happened in the final corner. I usually have a mooch in the reports or normally what happens afterwards. But I must admit, I forgot last night, as I was very sweaty. Sweaty Betty, say down there, flicking it into the chicane now. Good stuff indeed. Yeah, we didn't see what Lucas Persic had done. It could have been a 2-stopper there, but the 1-stops did seem to work. But I must say, the alternative strategy as well. Pease drove a superb race last night. He was my personal driver today. A really good job indeed there. Of course, I think Sam Swift Ninja also drove superbly well. The Sam Swift Ninja, but off the podium again, though, didn't he? That is the main talking point that I was thinking about last night. But of course, as always, I always think on the negative side, but that's because I'm ginger, of course. Out of the final turn then, we have got evening to you, Vintage. Good evening, young man, says Serious Mushroom. Across the line comes Dan and goes 12 fastest in the Haas car, and it underlines that the Haas car is not a drivable car at all. I think that if Dan was put in the McLaren team, I reckon he might be having a better season. Yeah, the course in Grand Prix race in ALR Formula 1, apart from the league on Wednesday, the championship on Wednesday, say all the cars are meant to be equal, but we have seen over the years that that's not always been the case, has it? And I wonder if that might be the same thing with the Haas. Here on board now with Marky, of course, Grand Prix winner earlier on this season, and of course, Marky, the best start in his career so far in Grand Prix racing, which is fantastic to see. Lovely stuff indeed there for Marky as he threads the eye of the needle, almost off the circuit there. I thought he would have got a track warning there and invalidation, but nope, all fine and dandy, which is all great stuff indeed. Good luck, Nigel, says Eric, which is, of course, Nigel making his 150th start, now 149th. I read it earlier and I can't remember. Good evening to Ethan. Great stuff to see Ethan in the comment section as well. Lovely jubbly. Absolutely fantastic stuff as we go into turn 27, the last corner. We've got so many corners on this circuit, and a lot of the corners are really not really corners at all in a Grand Prix car. Maybe an F2 potentially. Marky goes second fastest, underlines the power and performance and the poise and precision of the McLaren team this season. And look at that, half a second in front of the Red Bull at Kiki. That is a mega lap from Marky, but May ran off, has already put in an astounding lap in of its own right with a superb performance there earlier on the session. I was just seen, I think that was Jay Hinks there having a glancing blur with the wall, unfortunately. But let's stick with Jay Hinks in the Mercedes there. Jay Hinks currently not yet to get off the board at the moment. So far, we've got 6 drivers that have yet to set times so far. Jay Hinks, Vessier, Tori, Luke, and Irvine. But Luke is out on circuit at the moment. Get your likes coming in as well. So, of course, good stuff indeed. You bricking it for tomorrow? Ethan is asking Mushroom. Absolutely. I think Mushroom. I must admit, as Gordo's retired from the session, he's in the pits. So Gordo is not playing ball in this qualifying session. He's probably gone to have his chicken soup thingy. Kai Dow, who has been superb in the opening of 3 races, but only scored once in the opening 3 races. But I think the mistake potentially from Kai Dow also, I think that the fact that Kai Dow, though, has really I think it's the most improved driver. If we did that, if we did the end of the season awards after tonight, Kai Dow would easily win the most improved award, in my opinion. But of course, luckily, am I allowed to vote? Technically, I'm not, but I've always voted, to be fair. Because, you know, I like to have an opinion and all that kind of stuff. And I must admit, the award that I won last year, mainly because I voted for myself, going into the far end of the circuit. Acceleration away, I needed the vote there. Ethan and McLaren together on this game and real life, absolutely dominating there, isn't it, for McLaren, especially in silver at the moment there. I must admit, I feel that Haas's incredible record from a few seasons ago, back in season 2, we got some lagging going on, and Duke has left the session there, the championship leader. Is he? Wait a minute. Yes, the championship leader, Duke, is in peril here. Left the session whilst on a lap in the Williams car. Not ideal at all there for the championship leader, and Marky is going to be grinning from ear to ear. Potentially could overthrow Duke if he has any technical gremlins here tonight on board of Mr. Raging Bull. 6 minutes ago in this quality session there. Try hard, says Serious Bishop. Out of the final turn there comes Mr. Raging Bull. Then we've got May Runoff behind. May Runoff improves to a 26.9 for the McLaren team. Superlative stuff indeed. Tori is now in 4th position, and Tori there would like to also get some decent points on the board as well. Currently 5th in the championship moment, but I was expecting Tori to be a bit closer actually to Duke so far, so it's been a bit more difficult. And believe it or not, this gentleman here, of course, a 66 starts in ALR Gold racing, a Grand Prix winner, 2-time podium sitter as well, is Sloth. Hasn't raced for a very long time in a Grand Prix racing, but I'm astounded to say that this is the first silver race that Sloth has ever raced in, which I must admit I don't believe, but that is what the Bible says. Riley is 12th. Where is Kai Dow? Kai Dow is 13th at the moment there. He's not looking too quick this weekend, but I don't think it's Kai Dow. I do think as the 2 racing bulls are also strong there, Gordo's had enough already and has decided he's not going to play ball in qualifying. And Gordo also knows, of course, the most experienced driver in silver history. What's happened there with the telemetry there? Well, Kai Dow goes half a second quicker. That was a good lap there from Kai Dow, actually. Up into 10th position now. Good stuff indeed. Luke is 15th position there for the man who was runner-up in bronze last season. Jay Hings there on the opening start to stint of this lap then, as is Vessier, who's just over the wall from Jay Hings. There he is. There he goes. Now then, as he's now onto the back straight for the DRS, even though it's anything but a back straight. Not the quickest tonight, says Gordon, and Holler not ideal after crashing going into the pits. Oh dear. So unfortunately, Gordo has emulated the legend himself. Not Farf. I know Farf has crashed coming in the pit lane in Australia, if I'm not very much mistaken. Also, I think that also the world champion from Gold at Troy crashed coming in the pits as well in Spain. But I'm also thinking of another legend. Of course, it is David Coulthard, of course, crashed coming in the pit lane in Australia of '95. We've got a car teleporting there. Vessier only 17 fastest there, 2/10 of a second away from Dan down in the moment there. I wonder if a lot of drivers have not set up their car for qualifying, but more for race trim. And what I mean by that is potentially Jenner goes into a good fourth position there. Jenner was kind of anomalous last week, wasn't it? Which is very unusual for Jenner. Jenner is usually in the heart of the fight, but a good round of points nonetheless for Jenner. I think he finished 8th in the end. Jay Hings has improved dramatically and got himself up into 11th position under 5 minutes to go in this quali session. So it's starting to get really hot under the collar for drivers out there. What I was saying though, that maybe the drivers have not set up their car for quali and set for the race time, which means better straight line speed, which means better chance to overtake. Of course, the points are won on race day, even though racing qualifying is the same day. We're like Formula Wii, basically, aren't we? Sorry, Formula E, not Formula Wii. Formula E. Farf has invited me to a party. Should I join him? He might have been a bit late. It took Sloth so long to get his PS5, says Serious Mushroom. Is that true? To be fair though, unlike to be fair, I got my PlayStation 5 quite early on, but I'm one of those idiots that went on eBay and spent 800 quid for it. But to be fair, my controller was broke, so and I couldn't really justify buying another PlayStation 4 controller at the time, even though I think it was only like 40 quid. But there we go. And unfortunately, I think I broke my other controller as well now, which is good. And my pink controller is completely knackered. I got real bad stick drift. My knob keeps leaning more to the left there, which is not ideal. I'm using my white controller at the moment, but I think that this one's starting to have a bit of a problem as well, annoyingly. To be honest, I probably should buy a new one. I was meant to buy a new one the other week, but Amazon I think gave me a 40 one because it just didn't sync with the PlayStation. Sent it back, and I haven't bothered to get it back since. But that's probably because I've been busy. What have I been busy doing? Absolutely nothing. Here comes Camera Racer. This man is always busy. Out of the final turn, of course, as mentioned, 200th Grand Prix starts tonight. I'm making a big effort for that as well, especially after shamefully I forgot to announce someone's 100th Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago. Camaro goes full fastest there. Good time for Camaro. As we mentioned, I was talking about the quickest qualifiers in ALR. I do think that Silver has got the quickest qualifiers out of all the championships out, because we've got Camaro, we've got Jinner, we've got Kiki. I would say that those three drivers are absolutely superlative qualifiers. And of course, if you talk about qualifying, you have to also think about Immortal then, who has got the most pole positions in Gold history. I think as a total, it's between Kiki and Immortal, potentially, or by out on circuit in the Ferrari. I must say, Ferrari looked really strong in Japan, I think it was, but sadly it just the points just eluded them, and then since then they were kind of lost in Bahrain a week ago, and at the moment there, Riley is only down in 4th position. Jay Hings is retired from the session. Not ideal for Jay Hings there, but as Duke is in the session of championship leader, at the moment, though, is emulating the triple world champion Sam Strip Ninja, who was in 12th position there. No, Sean, Sloth's move real slow. I'm a certain Sloth, to be fair. I don't move very quick, to be honest. Actually, that's a lie. I do move quick when there's food about, especially when there's a buffet. Watching Tori, who is scampered off the circuit. That is going to be an invalidation there. 1 minute to go. I think that's costly for Tori. I don't think Tori's going to get around there, so that is going to be a horror show for the Aston Martin driver. Also having a glancing blow with the wall. Nigel. Oh, Duke is down in 12th position. Nigel starts us up now. Mr. Raging Ball is at the far end of the circuit. Kaido is, my goodness me, commitment from that man. I love it. in 10th position there. Riley is just started his lap as well. Here comes Luke, who's also just started his lap. This is going to get very interesting indeed. Irvine starts his lap then. It's one shot then as JLS sang back in the early 2010s, potentially. Or Nigel then. Nigel's gone purple in the first sector. I was looking to see who's the furthest one around there. Sloth is also firing on all cylinders as well. We've got Kiki out there. I'm doing a real bad job of trying to find who's on a quick lap. We're just finishing a quick lap here. Marky flying past me, almost taking my fake moustache off. Here comes Mayran off there, 10th a second through 22 and 23. Good gracious me, the checker flag has fallen. And it is Camera Racer who stays 4th position at the moment there. We've got an Alpine and Mr. Ridge Ball going up into 7th position there. Here comes the pole center of the run. May run off out the final turn. Then can the Mercedes car get as a first pole position of the season? Then nope, second pole position of the season across the line. And he has his a 26.8 there for the McLaren driver and extends his pole position. My goodness gracious me, the McLaren driver is absolutely dominating this season so far, even though this is very early. What can Marky do? Marky is down in the second sector and he is found the minutest of time, but it's not enough. Kiki there. Oh my goodness me, Kiki! Oh gosh, he might have to change his underpants after that. There. Goodness gracious me, how did he keep it on track? It's beyond me. Oh, Dennis had an issue with the wall. Also, Tori's out on circuit as well here. Sloth coming up to the line then. Sloth is had a bit of a horror show final lap, unfortunately. Koopas and Soup out of the final turn there. Kiki's in front of us. Let's see what Kiki does there. Kiki! Not enough for his third fastest out. His teammate Coop goes up into 12th position now. Jenner in the pits. Tori also in the pits. Well, I think that could be it. And Dan has found 9/10 of a second and goes up to 16th position now. Favre has not come out of the pits. Favre has lost his keys. Dan goes 16th fastest there. May run off pole position number 2 of the season. Second pole position in a row. And also, it's at his second pole position of his career as well. Let me get my specs out. It's not, Sean. Sit down. It is his 6th pole position of his career. Fantastic stuff there from Mayranov, but he is absolutely flying at the moment. Some drivers are in absolute fine battle at the moment. It is really good to see, isn't it? And I do feel that this season is starting to become a bit of a major turning point. I'm thinking Grand Prix racing then for these drivers, and I do feel that we're having a bit of a shuffle in terms of performances, which is very interesting. 3/10 of a second, that's a mammoth gap there, as May run off giving us the peace sign. Fantastic stuff indeed there. No more excuses for Wednesday. Here we go then. Zaylan saying Sarah's Russia is seriously just talking to himself. And to be fair, I think he's talking to me, but I'm just so slow to respond to him. First sign of madness, or it's a sign that you're a genius. That's what I say. Anyway, to be fair, technically I'm talking to myself really, because I'm just in my old living room on my poof with me cool bottle of water at the moment. I've got one of these sippy cup things. No, they're not sippy cups. Well, there's a big cup of a straw, a lovely pink and blue, which is lovely. A bit like the Alpine, actually, isn't it? Goodness me. I didn't know I was a closet Alpine fan. Well, I did, because I think they've got the nicest looking car on the grid, in my opinion. Sorry, that was a longer sip than I was expecting. Right then, as we're lined up on the grid now, preparing ourselves for the start of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. This is round 4 of the championship. If you just joined us, hello. And on this, oh no, and Duke has left the session again. The championship leader is in major bother. So what the hell's what does Farrell mean? Is a major bother tonight. This is a horror show for the championship leader. And does that mean he's out of the race? I'm not sure. I think that if you're not in the formation up, you're out of the race, aren't you? Sadly, as we take look, exactly like last night though, hard tyres for Favre, for Riley and for Mr. Raging Bull. So like last night, 3 drivers taken on the hard tyres, everyone else on the medium tyres there. Interesting stuff indeed then. But I feel that let's take a look at Duke down in 40th position. He's a ghost. Can he get control of the car before the end of the formation lap? That is what I'm thinking about right now. I'm helping the algorithm now. Duke will get disqualified, says Serious Mercy. Oh, that's heartbreaking. That really is indeed that. Farf, what's going on? I don't think it's Farf's fault, believe it or not. And actually, more shockingly enough, it's not raining either, which is incredible stuff, especially when Farf's around. Let's go for the grid, but I really hope that's not the case there for Duke, because that is crucial. This championship this season is all go. I keep saying this is a game of inches. Formula One is there. That's why I don't play anymore, because unfortunately I'm below inches, centimeters, I'm around the millimeter mark. But this season is going to be so close in the championship. The technical problems, like the one Duke's facing here tonight, could be costly in the World Championship. McLaren pole position. McLaren, the front row, has been locked out once again. Mayranov won last week quite comfortably, with Markey also comfortably in second position. Kiki in third position. Was Kiki also third last week? No, he was fourth last week. Camera Racer, 200. Happy 200 to Camera. Happy 99th start in silver. Fourth position. Jenner in fifth there, with Tori in sixth position. Kaidal, I thought he was in trouble, Kaidal, but he's put me back in my place. So another impressive qualifying performance in seventh position. Mr. Raging Bull, not Racing Bull, in eighth position. Sloth back on the ALR grid for the first time in a very long time. Nigel down in 10th position. Nigel's got a lot of work to do, especially since third in the championship. Luke in 11th position there. 12th is Coop as in soup then, with Jay Hinks in 13th. Duke, the championship leader, is lagging at the back of the field. Issues. Riley in 15th position. Dan in 16th. 17th is Gordo, 18th Irvine, 19th is Vestier, and Farf is 20th position there. I think Farf's in the car. Fantastic stuff indeed there. But already the major talking point is this man here. No, I think it's all over for the championship leader. This is horrible for Duke then. Oh dear. Oh, it's like Isaac Hadjar in the Formula 2 showdown last year in Abu Dhabi, where he was not where he had a problem on the starting grid, and potentially the same for Duke there. But luckily for Duke there, it's only round 4 of the championship, but this is costly for the overall title. Right, and lights out, and it's go here as the rush down in Sir, the two McLaren's formation flying as Cameron's already made his way up the third position there. It's a McLaren 1-2. Cake Sauber in third position there. The Red Bull of Kiki's been squeezed on the inside, but it's kept going there nonetheless. As all the cars have made their way through. They have indeed then, and it's all still fine and dandy then. So let's go back into the front then. The McLaren leads, McLaren second, but Camera Racer all over the gearbox of Markey, but then in turn Torres all over the gearbox of the Kick Sauber, followed by Kiki, and we got Gordo and Dan going side by side then. Farf is also in the position as well. There's contact damage between the cars, and it's Vessier and Farf again. They've done it again on the very first lap. Riley's been got 10-second penalty for corner cuts out there. It's Anarchy at the back of the field. Oh my goodness gracious me. Mayranov is flying out there at the moment. What a performance! Look at that then. He's got somewhere to be tonight, hasn't he? Oh, his own Camera Race having a glance and blow at the wall. Kiki down into fifth position. He's lost 2 positions on the opening start here. And what is that then? Is that we got... I thought we had side-by-side action there between Luca and Mr. Ranger. But as we go into 22 and at 23 then. Dan in far for swap position. There they go then. And Luke, goodness gracious me, on board with his teammate. There's the 2 Mercedes in 11th and 12th position. Currently then on the opening stage of the start. Then my goodness gracious me, there's action all over. Here comes Nigel on the outside. Nigel's having to 8th position. He's done it. And that's about DRS as well. That's what we was talking about in qualifying. Potentially some drivers may have decided to not to pull a race setup on rather than a qualifying setup there, which may help the overtaking on this race set, as DRS has been enabled at the end of the first lap. Then the Alpine having a look on the inside of Mr. Raging Bull on the on Sloth there, but no dice at the moment there. Of course, it's a pinchy zone there coming out of turn 2, isn't it? And what talking a pinch, there's something going on there as Gordo and Ronnie has come to blows, I think, ever so slightly, as Farf in 15th position about there. As we got the Alpine of so Duke is still in the back of the field, but luckily, as Cameron's got a 3-second penalty, but my goodness gracious me, look at that gap there. That's an incredible gap there. Mayranov has been watching the 98 season review of Formula 1. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, Duke's back in. That is golden. That is magic. But what isn't magic for the championship leader is that he's got a long way to go, but he's still in it to win it. As long as you put your ticket in, you could potentially win the lottery. So Duke is still in it to win it, but he may need a safety car to get himself in this one. But I still feel that Duke has the pace, has the potential in that Williams car to still get some good points. But let's see how this one transpires. Kiki then, who's starting to home in on the Aston Martin. He needs to get in before the end of the lap. Then it's not disqualified him. Invite him in. Someone says serious pressure. I think Farf did, to be fair, whilst I was yapping on up the inside. There goes Kiki, passes Tori, and up into. Oh, Tori's back on the outside. Incredible, fantastic there from Tori. But now it's going to be a drag race going down into turn one. There, Kiki is not a man to be, not a man to give up. Is he down into turn one? Great driving from Tori. Great driving from Kiki as well. That is great awareness from both drivers there, because we've seen so many times that final corner is a bit of a pinch. Then what am I saying pinch for tonight? I don't know, but that final corner can sometimes catch drivers out and they can just merge into each other. Mr. Raging Bull is ghosting there. He's down into 30% damage on the Alpine. No, he's fine, but Riley wants a piece of that action, but Riley unfortunately hasn't been able to get through as we go up into the very fast hairpin here, which I probably should learn the corner name. It's either turn 13 or turn 10 there. One day I'll get it right, even though that this is what US circuits is there. So May run off is 1.5 seconds in front of his teammate. His teammate in turn is almost out of DRS range of Camaro here. That is incredible from the McLaren team once again there. A lovely shot here as we look down on this beautiful Saudi Arabia Corniche International Circuit. I think that's what it's called, as I love that corner through turn 25 and turn 22 and 23. Here comes Jitter and Kiki. Goodness me. Remember, them two can make contact in the event league a few races ago in Australia. We got to have round two, but this time in silver. Of course, I hope you got your popcorn. This is going to be action, which I love a good bit of action there. Across the line then on lap 4 already in this very fast race. No safety cars last night. Gold was absolutely at a premium in terms of quality last night, in terms of lack of safety cars once again there. And it just shows that ALR at the moment, Grand Prix ALR, is very much there. In terms of driving standards, I would say at an absolute all-time high there. Some drivers may disagree with me on that then, but where do I get my facts from? I'm just thinking about just the lack of safety cars. As Dan launches on the inside there, determined to get past Gordo. He has got past Gordo. Now Irvine is having a fight as well. Duke has got back in the car, but it's 6 seconds back then is Duke then, but he might be able to catch up to the back of this crocodile. Is Dan almost 2 seconds back at the moment then. Here comes Irvine, passes Gordo and made his way up into 18th position. I think those two used to be teammates last season. Irvine in the Ferrari who kept his seat from it last season. But Markey, even though May ran off there, is running away with this race there. After that, then it's all Jitter! Oh no! He's off! Is there damage on the car? Yes! There's end plate damage there for Jitter, and oh dear me. That is not good then. As Seymour has unfortunately given Jitter the commentator's curse. Go on now, Jitter, but sadly, as before I read it out, Jitter has had issues. And now here comes Luke then to just compile the misery that Jitter is under at the moment. Can Jitter go on the hard tires and go to the end of the race from here? Well, the hard tires did get, they didn't do that many laps last night, so I'm not sure that. I disagree with you. Are you, I disagree with you, you're still in it. Into the pits comes Jitter. Well, technically, actually I am in it, yeah. There's a Nigel on the outside here at Kaidal. Great driving again from Kaidal. I love it. As we've got more overtaking action as Mr. Right. Contact between the two cars there. And now Riley is also involved in the facility as well. Great driving for Riley so far. Making his way up through the field. Very as clinical as you like in that second Ferrari. Of course, and his teammate Irvine down in 6th moment. Jitter in the pits. Both Williamses, who I must say at the beginning of this event was probably happy and potentially looking to extend the lead in the Constructors' Championship. 19th and 20th now. It's a disaster class for the team from the Williams team then. As for Mr. Raging Bull going on the inside there, he's pushing that Ferrari. He wants Riley to get on with it here. There's a Mr. Raging Bull then, but Riley is not going to be pressured, is he? There he is on the hard tyres. Well, as is Mr. Rage, and as has Farf as well. Actually, all the hard tyre runners have all somehow merged together here. That's interesting. I didn't notice that there just a minute ago. I'm just kidding. Red Bull #1, absolutely. My performance last week was superb stuff. Let's ignore Serious Russian's podium. I'm watching. He was 4 by now. So coming up now into as we're getting very. Oh my word! There's the two Mercedes there. Overtaking each other. I think formation flying potentially there, but and I think that Luke's done a really good job there. actually, because now, whoa, as we've also got Camera and Tori swapping positions there. We've also got Nigel and Sloth for the swapping positions as well. Goodness gracious me. Anarchy down into the turn one. Oh my goodness gracious me. And look at that, the two Mercedes are doing a good job there. I was going to say two Mercedes looked very good. Oh, the car's still on the inside there. Jay Hinks trying to slam the door shut on Coop, but the door is already ajar. And now Riley has passed Mr. Raging Bull. This is going to, oh my gosh, Sarah Riley gives the LP just about enough cover cars with good gracious me, gentlemen. But through goes Mr. Raging Bull. I was going to say Mr. Riley. Through goes Mr. Raging Bull and up into top position. They got to keep in DRS, so that's important in this Grand Prix so far then. Oh my goodness gracious me. Genoa now do time trial laps, and says Anthony then. I feel so bad for cursing him, haha, says Seymour. To every time I say Seymour, I keep thinking of The Simpsons. Watching where are we? There's the McLaren. Believe it or not, let's do an update on the race end. McLaren is still out in front. Oh, as Tori is scammering off the circuit. As is Cameron. Was that glancing below the wall for the kick Sauber? I'm not sure, but Kiki sees an opportunity, and there he goes. He's got some momentum. Has the Red Bull driver. Is he going for it? He's not going for it. Then into turn 27 here, but not Aston Martin looks vulnerable, doesn't he? And you know that Red Bull drivers like him vulnerable. Play Danny Ricciardo's radio from a couple of seasons ago. Through they go. Kiki up into third position there. Passes the Aston Martin driver. Good stuff indeed there. Then we got Kite out, followed by Sloth, followed by Nigel. Then after that we got an almighty battle here. It felt a bit personal in the first sector of the last lap there, but it looks a bit more serene. Oh, it did, but Riley overshooting turn one, and that is an opportunity that Farf is not going to miss here. On board with the former Grand Prix winner, is Farf, I think, 6-time Grand Prix winner and a whole there. Look at the Aston Martin. Look at the understeer there. Kiki's lost out, and now comes Tori's back into third position with Kiki now down into fourth position there. Skinner says a serious question. Out of a turn. Oh, Farf's got a 3-second penalty there, as Dan and Gorda are also swapping for position there. Duke has now made his way up into 18th position there, catching onto the back of this crocodile car set. So now let's see what Duke can do. We're on lap 7 out of 25 here. There is still a oh, it's Skinner, not Seymour. What's Seymour then? Hang on. I'm sure it's off of film, isn't it? Never mind. I'll be thinking about that one, and I'll let you know. But this time next week, probably, because that's how slow my brain works, to be honest. May run off 2.5 seconds in front of Markey, who's 3.25 seconds in front of Tori in the Aston Martin. Now Duke has made his way up into 70th position, passes Gorda. No retirements after 7 laps. Once again, the race here as a whole has been very impressive. About no safety cars or anything like that, which I'm a bit disappointed with, because I love a good safety car. Across comes Kiki, going into third position, passes Tori. The McLarens are in a league of their own here. Seymour Skinner. Okay, yes. It is, right? I'm so up for that. I thought I was going senile. Maybe already up, actually. Jay Hings up into 9th position. Luke is down into 10th. The two Mercedes drivers, I think, have played a very good game here, to be honest. They got the hard shot, Mr. Raging Bull. It probably is now starting to be the quicker of the drivers around here. But, oh my gosh, there, Mr. Raging Bull cutting it fine there. Goodness me. I wonder if he watched Wallace and Gromit a close shave, because that certainly was a close shave, Ben. I certainly know enough about shaving, since I can't grow hair. Oh my goodness gracious me, I'm like a naked ball rat. Is like Rufus off of Kim Possible. Luke and Jay Hinks has still 9 for 10 position there, holding their ground nicely here. And one of the Mercedes drivers are actually just holding up Mr. Raging Bull, because they know later on Mr. Raging Bull is going to be a factor in this race, because he'll be on the medium tires. They'll be quicker, and of course they will be thinking about potentially Mr. Raging Bull be coming out the Mercedes drivers and could potentially win or lose a couple of points here and there. Oh, sorry, I got a notification off LinkedIn. Great. Anyway, enough about that. There's some random guy asking about networking. Unfortunately, not my forte. Right, Coopers and Soup's got a 3-second penalty. Not ideal. We're on board Coop now, who's almost out of well, I say almost. He's about got a 3-second, 10th-second buffer, which is which is a comfortable margin, I would say, in Grand Prix racing. Out of final turn, then there's lap 9. Is anyone coming in the pits? Yes, there's a Mercedes in the pits, and who's that? That's Luke coming into the pits. Rolling the dice is the runner from Brob's last season. Riley up into 11th position now. Coop back down into 12th there. Riley is the second highest rating hard runner now then. I think the hard is better. Race tire, says Serious Mushroom. I have to agree, to be honest, because I was going to, by the way, I'm actually being serious. But yes, I actually agree, because it does feel like that the hard runners, look at the understeer on Coop's car. That's ridiculous. Is those tires completely gone? Well, Farfair is not using the track there. Sadly, Farfair's been caught green-handed there in the kick salver, and unfortunately, in 30 minutes there, Farfair, the penalties has been his Achilles heel for many seasons, Farfair, but this season, I think there's a lot of frustration there in Farfair, and that kick salver is just not dealing with far strength, sadly. Kiki trying to get out of the DRS zone of Tori. Kiki was on course for a podium for most of the last race there. I think right up to the final stages there before Kiki lost that podium, sadly. Tori is just about in DRS range there, because Kiki almost got it out of DRS range, but look at that, and he's gained 0.3 of a second on that back straight, and he's going to have another. Oh, it's Tori's car not compliant through the final turn there. I was wondering if he was going to come in the pitch, you know. The undercut is quite powerful, but remember that last night Menace Max was eaten alive. Was it? Now Mercedes, Jay Higgs in the pits. We got a Ferrari. That's Riley in the pits. Goodness me, Riley in the pits there after only 10 laps on the hard tires. Now this is a turn up for the books then. Is this a Ferrari masterclass or disaster class? This is a 10-second penalty for Riley. I forgot about this. Oh, this is heartbreaking for Riley, and this has certainly ended his chances of potentially getting points there. And whether that 10-second penalty was justified or not remains to be seen. Then, as Kiki is still trying to stretch out his gap. The gaps are now starting to spread out a bit. Then, as the points, as the pit stops starting to roll in. So the highest runner who has pitted is Luke, and he's gone onto the medium tire. Luke has, and his teammate Jay Hing's gone to the hard tires. So Mercedes will split their strategy here. So Luke will have to stop again whilst Jay Hing's running there. But Luke needs to really start to fire on all cylinders. And whether he can get to, I'd say like 20, maybe 21, maybe from the soft tires at the end of the race. But we didn't see what the two-stopper, if the two-stopper would have worked or not last night after Percy's retirement. But it didn't work out too well for Menace. Look at Duke and the pace he's got over that Alpine in front of Vessia. But remember, Vessia's got damage still from the collision that he had with Favre earlier on in this race. My gosh! And now he's going for another one. He's on the inside. 2 for the price of 1. Favre's made contact with Duke then into the final turn. And Duke has had the bail out of that one there. Should Duke have been given more space? I think that Duke was entitled to the inside part of the corner there. But nevertheless, of course, it's so much easier from my vantage point because I'm just sat on me proof at the moment. Into the pits, out of the pits comes Tori. Out of the pits comes Camera Racer on the hard tyres. Luke is now on the medium tyres, and look at how much ground that Luke's gained up there. Luke is now up to a de facto 6th position there. Fantastic. Nigel is in 30th position. Jinner, of course, there in 40th position after having issues earlier on then. So I think that Jinner is, I think that Jinner might be able to salvage a point or two, but I feel that Major Points is out of the position. Now, it depends on how well those hard tyres holds up there. Two-stop gamblers, bug off, says Serious Russia. I'm not sure about the two-stoppers personally. If I was racing this race, which God forbid, I would probably be having to go with staying on the one stopper personally. Here's May Ranoff, and it's the first time that May Ranoff has seen any other car on the circuit. He probably thinks this is a very unique test session on a Monday night of ALR because he is dominating at the moment, isn't it? It's the first car he's probably seen in about 8 laps. It's been absolutely incredible. Markey is on the start-finish straight down, and Markey is probably probably going to cover off Tory now and come into the pits. Indeed he is, and so the McLaren mechanics are in the pits. Kiki's also in the pits as well, but I feel that Kiki would have lost that position because the gap was under a second then as Tory pitted last like that. Mayranov is going to retake the lead of the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, and yes he does, and Markey has been surfaced and is coming up now. He's on the other side of that wall. Mayranov takes the lead. Mr. Raging Bull is now in second position. Where's Markey going to come out then? Markey has come out. Is he going to get out in front of Farf here? Here is Farf now going for a longer stint here, but now he's got Tory behind him. Tory would like to have passed Farf down into turn one there, but Farf is racing his own race. He's not going to wave anyone through. But look at that, Camera Racers in front of Kiki. Kiki's staying out for a lap longer. It's cost him 2 positions here, Kiki. Is he going to be concerned about that? Potentially. Dandan is out of the Grand Prix, sadly. It's just not gone his way. Dandan was lacking pace here tonight in that Haas car, and that's now two races in the quick succession as Farfus and Tory have made contact there. Dandan there struggling with the pace here tonight there, unfortunately, as the bronze champion. And again, is it the Haas car? Because there's been like 2 drivers that have really struggled, and last season they didn't have these amount of struggles, did they? We'll see what Dandan says after the race then, as we're just now back on board with Camera Race, and he's gaining on his teammate here. Is Farf going to wave his teammate through? Or is Farf not going to be thinking about that too much, because Farf is going to try to extend this stint as much as possible. I think that Farf ain't going to be able to defend this one much, because Farf does let his teammate go. Of course, Farf is on a different strategy, but Farf may come back into this one later on in this race. You never know. As Mayranov set to pass that, the gap is now 4 seconds there. Gap's almost 5 seconds to his teammate then, as Tory is about 3 seconds back from Mayranov at the moment there. So the gap between the two McLarens to the rest of the field is still pretty substantial. Up the inside goes Kiki. Farf going to try and go up the inside. No dice there. Kiki slams the door shut on Farf's toes. Luke fights it with Nigel, and Luke has got to go an awful long way on those medium tyres. I'm not sure. Farf doesn't do teammates, does he? Goodness me, it's not like a car league. Oh, what's happened? And Vessier's off the circuit. Now it's on Duke. Duke's off the circuit. It's wow. Oh no. And Duke, who's done a good job to get himself back into this race, but it's just going horrible for the championship leader. And he's also, I'm not sure if we just had a bit of a glitch there as well. I'm not sure. I'm not going to point fingers yet then, but was that a technical problem for the Williams car, or was that a collision there? But Vessier is again there, back to square one there. Of course, survived the first stint with wing damage, but sadly he's now got wing damage again there, as Markey has got past Vessier's teammate, Mr. Raging Bull. Nigel's got past Luke and up into 8th position there. Next target is Farf, and here is Nigel now then. Of course, Nigel and Farf are 2 ALR greats, ain't they? Goodness gracious me, that if you think about ALR, you do think about Farf and Nigel. So just watching Nigel then home in on Farfet as Camera Racer has been passed by Kiki. Kiki's got some pace tonight. Fantastic 17. No penalties either. As he's out the inside, that's Luke. They're trying to use those medium tires to his advantage. And goodness gracious me, Farf's in the pits, and oh no! And my goodness gracious me! And oh dear, that was a bit clumsy, wasn't it? They're coming into the pits. Kaidal is now past Nigel, so I don't think Nigel's got damage, or it doesn't look like he's got damage on the Haas car. There is certainly some damage. I think it was off Farf, to be honest, but that is difficult. And Silver Sofa says serious measure. Goodness me, it is there. I think that when replaying that again on both cars, are probably going to point to each other. Unfortunately, coming into the pits. To be honest, this pitting is probably not the easiest in the world, but it's not Austria either, is it? Of course, in terms of the most silliest of pittings, I'd say it's Austria. But having said that, where else would you put the Austria pitting? To be honest, I'll probably, I don't know really, actually. You probably could start the pit in Austria, probably over turn 6, to be fair. Riley's got a 3-second penalty, as Riley. Kaidal looking strong again, and Italy there. He should have and could have scored major points in all 3 races. Got 5th position so far, Kaidal has, so far this season. Luke's medium tyre gamble, I don't think it's paying off yet, but I'm not going to judge just yet. I'm not Judge Judy. Or Judge Rinder, but I do feel at this stage Luke needs to go a bit quicker if he wants the 2-stop strategy to work. Where's that? Oh my goodness me. And now we've got a Williams there on the outside there, and here comes the Williams there. Oh, and oh my gosh, Sarah, that's Williams had nowhere to go. And my goodness gracious me, and now Jenner's been, and Jenner and Sloffers have made contact into the final 10 there. And now here comes Sloffies into the party. Oh, I've swallowed my tongue as we go down into turn one now. Luke has still got the advantage. Kaido! Not quite. And Nigel still in 8th, 9th is Sloth, 10th is Jenner. Into the pits comes Coop after only 5 laps. There's a problem for that Red Bull car. That is not. And Coop is out of the Grand Prix. Oh dear, then Coop is out of the race. Has 2 retirements then. Canada's the worst pit, says Serious Mushroom. I thought Austria was worse, to be honest, in Canada. Sloth there, I thought he was going to get beat. And Jenner scampered off the circuit, and he comes back on there. But Jenner now, as Jay Hinks is in 10th position, Jenner drummed down to 11th. I think that some drivers are probably home for a safety car. Kaido has still not got past Luke yet. This is costly for Kaido, isn't it? But Luke doesn't care, because Luke is on his own strategy here. But Luke is also helping his teammate here, so I'm wondering if this might be a Mercedes roller of the dice there. Kaido will have DRS now, but I think, I'm going to be honest, Kaido is going to have to get past Pronto here, otherwise he's going to lose umpteen position there. That is the pressure, isn't there? DRS maybe slam dunk overtakes these days there, but it also brings Adam. Oh, Nigel, not quite. I thought he was going to have a dive into 22 there. I would have said that is a ballsy maneuver, but no. And now, but here comes Luke again then, and now Kaido is going to unfortunately feel the wrath of the Mercedes. He has lost out. Is Nigel going to get through as well? No, he's not there. And Luke returns back up into 7th position there. Kiki's returned back up into 3rd. It's a great drive from Kiki tonight, as Kiki got the pace. So to after the McLarens, I do think the McLarens are in a different time zone tonight. Nigel's now through and up into 7th position now. Kaido dropped down to 8th, and sadly Kaido not getting past Luke has really cost him here. I think that's probably cost him 2 positions at the very least. And here's Sloth and also Jay Hings, who are not stopping here on the same strategy as Kaido. So I think that potentially Kaido is now going to start to feel the pressure and needs to get past Luke Pronto here. Back on, well, Nigel hasn't got past Luke yet, has he? So there I'm counting me chickens before they hatch then, which is not a good sign, is it? Going over the curb once again then. My goodness gracious me, as we go into the turn 13 hairpin, almost like a parabolica, really, is it? A mini parabolica. As we got specialists at the fast of the race, down in 18th position, Riley down in 17th, Duke has recovered into 16th, but both Williamses are not in the points at the moment, far from 14th position now on 2-lap old medium tyres. Then we have got Gordo in 13th position, Irvine in 12th. Whoa, my gosh! It's up now. Sloth is firing through. Sloth has got damage onto that front end plate there. Oh, that's Kaido and Sloth almost go side by side through 22 and 23, and then that has now caused a lot of momentum loss there for both cars. And now, goodness gracious me, oh my gosh, I think I'm going to have 3 abreast into the final corner, and Sloth is not going for it. Then if he decides to have a go into turn 1, if he can, Jay Hings I thought was going to go up and under there, but not quite. And look at his cars all over the show here. Into the pits comes Luke then. So Luke has had enough, and that's going to release these cars out. And I think that Nigel and Kaido would probably have liked that a bit earlier. Sloth on the outside now, and Kaido defends the inside. Great textbook driving there from Kaido, and stays in 7th position there. Kaido now needs to put his toe down, with Specialist Sloth with some wing damage there. He's going to have horrific understeer. Case in points there, unfortunately. So Luke is now on the hard tires going to the end of the race, and so I think that Luke is probably caught in 2 minds there, wasn't he, unfortunately, in terms of strategy calls. And sadly, it's now in no man's land, that strategy is for Luke. He will have pressure, harder tires to the end there, but I do feel that more major points then for the second Mercedes car may be gone then. Mr. Raging Bull, as we predicted earlier on in this race, is now going to become a factor, especially for that especially for the first Mercedes. Oh, Jay Hings Junior getting a 3-second penalty up there. Lap 17 out of 25 here then. McLaren 1-2 going for their second 1-2 in a row. Kiki has actually gained about half a second there on Markey. So Kiki is now starting to put some pressure on the 2 McLarens, and he is now towing Toya along as well in full position. Camera Racer 3-second penalty. That would not hurt him so far, because Nigel's about 8 seconds back. Then we got Kaido, who is 7th position and is homing in on Nigel. Then we got Sloth in 8th position. 9th position is Jay Hings. 10th position is Mr. Raging Bull, and there is Mr. Raging Bull is now starting to become a factor. Farf is all over the gearbox of Luke then, and then we got Jinners all over the back of Farf. Oh my word! And now here they go. Then it's this wheel to wheel between two of the most incredible racing drivers. Jenner's up the inside. Is he going through? He's going through. Farfy's got damage as well. Don't know where Farfy's got damage. Who's that into the pits? That's Gordo into the pits. Farf comes back at him now to go out to turn one. My goodness me. Farf and Jenner fighting for every inch of the track, and both drivers are not fighting for major points today, but they're certainly going to enjoy it. Oh my gosh, and they're banging wheels. There's debris on both cars here now, saying 5. And Farf keeps 13th position. My goodness gracious me. And that's going to put a smile on Luke's face there, because now Luke is out of DRS range because these two are... Farf's on the curb. Farf's off the circuit. And Farf down in 14th position. I think that's a lot of frustration from the kick Sauber driver. Jenner back up in the 30th position there. And he's going to be homing in on Luke now, isn't it? As Mr. Raging Bull is all over the back of Jay Hing. Sloth has sadly lost 2 positions since we last seen him. Here comes Mr. Raging Bull. He's going to be able to get those tyres to the end from here on in. Then they may struggle, but you can see the sheen on that on those tyres. They're brand new tyres here for the Alpine car. I'm in 2-8 position now, goes Mr. Raging Bull. And now here comes Sloth, who's now going to cause Jay Hing's all kinds of bother. And that's even worse, of course. There's not rain. That is the harvesting on the back of the Mercedes cars. It goes up the inside. Jay Hings gives Sloth a Aston Martin's cars whip, and that's exactly what Sloth wants there. However, Jay Hings has got a good old bit of speed there, and also a bit of DRS as well. This wheel to wheel between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes down into turn 1. Sloth has got the position and the high ground as well. And we all know about the high ground if you're Star Wars fans. Fantastic stuff. Sloth up to 8th position. Nope, 9th position. Sean Condon. Luke, 3 laps on mediums. My screen went blurred. There may be trouble ahead, says Sirius Mushroom, and Sirius Mushroom predicted that to an absolute T. As there was a bit of contact between the two cars, wasn't there? 18 cars remain out of the 20 that started on lap 19. We're just watching Kaidao, who is homing back in on Nigel, the first ever ALR champion. Key has got the gap down to 4 seconds now. So Kiki is on the march. He wants to break up this McLaren party, but my goodness gracious me, then Markey, I wonder if Markey is going to be settling for second, but this is going to be interesting now, because it's starting to feel like a bit like the real world of Formula 1 between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. And of course, and I haven't, but unlike the real world of Formula 1, I think both Markey and Mayranov would love to be, well, actually, it is like real world of Formula 1 as well. However, they do not have to answer to a team boss, so that's the only difference between Mayranov and Markey and Lando Norris and Piastri. But of course, they also want to win the constructors as well. But the two McLaren drivers are absolutely head and shoulders above the rest of the field. And that was not in our season preview, and yours was it? Goodness gracious me! Those two men who thought they knew everything there is to know about Formula 1 and ALR, absolutely no dice at all. As both gentlemen did not predict the McLaren team, did they? I think that I predicted it was going to be a decent season, but I didn't say they were going to be constructors champions. I thought it was going to be the Williams team, to be honest, but unfortunately, the Williams not having a great day. Then Jenner down in 13th position, Duke down in 14th position at the moment there. As we're just watching Kaida. Fred the Ardenino once again, then Mayranov leads with Markey in 2nd position, 4.7. Kiki, I think, has lost the momentum, sadly. He's down in 3rd position now. Tori in 4th position, with Camaro in 5th. 6th is Nigel. Kaidal is starting to drop back in 7th position, with Mr. Raging Bull in 8th position on those medium tyres. I'm still sceptical about the medium tyres, whether they get to the end or not. But let's be honest about it. Those Pirelli tyres, they are certainly a different art, aren't they? Certainly for anyone who was growing up in the Goodyear and Bridgestone era, like I was, but that's because I'm grey and old there. I'm like old man Logan, but not cool. Riley's got a 3-second penalty. 9th position is Sloth. 10th position is Jay Hings now. Irvine in 11th. Good recovery drive from that Ferrari driver. Luke in 12th position on fresh hard tyres. Luke may actually put me in my place again, as I think that Luke may potentially get some points from here on in. 8 seconds to gap. Well, 4 laps to go. No, probably not, actually. Jinner in 13th position there, and Jinner is starting to home in on Luke then. That's going to get interesting. With Duke in 14th position there. Gordo 15th. Riley 16th. Farp has gone soft in 17th position. 18th position is better than Horror Show for Vestiaire. Horror Show for Farfetch. Jinner, I think, is very frustrating in the Williams car as well, isn't he? Unfortunately for Jinner. Just getting too much tyre thermal deck there, potentially. The tyres are probably screaming as Jinner is frustrated out there. My goodness gracious me. Going into turn 1 and 2. Thank you very much, Ethan. Whoever this commentator is, I want you to be my ringtone there. Loving the comms there. No, you don't, Ethan. Let's just say I'm only good in short bursts now, as Serious Mushroom and the rest of the ALR community knows. Goodness me. So I think a lot of them have me on mute, to be honest, most of the time, mainly because of my appalling jokes and my very boring history lectures. Jinner is in 13th position at the moment, and also I can't tell. Also, I can't read any of the drivers' names either, which is shocking stuff. I grew up with wooden wheels, so to be honest, I'm glad I read the wheels afterwards, because I was like, what? Good goodness me. Shocking stuff indeed. Serious Mushroom was there for the first ever Monaco Grand Prix race, wasn't you, Mushroom? Fantastic race that was as well. Wasn't it 1922? Of course, that was dreamt up by Anthony Noakes, then, wasn't it? Of course, the name of the last corner of Monaco. Sadly, we don't have the Monaco Grand Prix on the calendar this year, which I'm glad about. If I was racing, I'm not glad about, because I love the Monaco Grand Prix, because it's usually one of the more intriguing races, and it's an absolute skill to get through Monaco. It's an absolute skill to get through most of these races, to be fair. But certainly Monaco is one of the toughest Grand Prix on the calendar. Whether these current F1 cars are about grown up or not, it's qualifying. You have to be incredible in qualifying to have a good Monaco Grand Prix. Irvine's dropped down to 12th position now, because Luke is on basically half the tyre life of Irvine now, and so Luke is now in 11th position. The gap is 6.5 seconds. Jay Hingso's got a penalty there, as Irvine's lost out as well to. Irvine has now lost out, unfortunately, as well to Jinner. There are the position changes as well, then, as we are going to have driver of the day fairly soon. Then, if I can get my laptop working. May run off currently in the rig. Jinner's got another penalty, unfortunately. Toy up 2 positions, Nigel up 4, then up 5 is Irvine. I must admit, though, it's very difficult to look past the top 3 in terms of driver of the day today, and I would throw Nigel in there as well, because I must say that the McLaren team have just been absolutely sublime. All right, cheeky gets a serious. Oh, yellow flag, what's happened? There's an issue at the back of the field, and it's Riley, who is, or is it Gordo? One of the two drivers are quite slow there, unfortunately. Lap 23, and my runoff is either having issues there, or is just trying to coast the car home then, because this has been a clinic and racing again. The 2 races in a row now, the McLaren have dominated from lights to checkered flag then. Of course, my goodness gracious me, this reminds me of the early stage of the 1998 Grand Prix season. It probably also reminds me of the 2025 season as well, but I got short-term memory, and I remember more of the 98 season than I do the 2025 season, sadly. So it's just getting old, unfortunately. Yes, in the 98 season, remember, McLaren lapped all but 1 car, and of course that was Heinz Frentzen, I believe, and the Williams Mechachrome, of course, after Renault decided to pull out of F1 in '97. Sounds familiar? It normally is, because Renault has been in and out of Formula 1. Not as bad as Honda, unfortunately, as Honda seems to be in and out every time. Every time they do well, Honda always seems to pull the plug, interestingly enough, even though they kind of pulled the plug in 2021 before returning. So there we go. Before now returning properly with the Aston Martin team in 2026, which is exciting, isn't it? More engine suppliers the merry for me. I'd say that we need more engine suppliers anyway. Of course, we're now up to 5, aren't we, for next season then, which is quite cool. With Audi coming in as well. Of course, Honda will be supplying Aston Martin. Sadly, we're losing the Renault, which is I still think it's a big blow. Yeah, Renault have had the power unit in the hybrid here has been appalling. Let's not make no bones about it there. The hybrid Renault engine is just not been a success, has it really? Are they the only power? No, they're not. I was going to say the only power unit not to win, but of course Renault did win when they was with the Red Bull. Or was he still called Red? What is it still called Renault? Or was it called Tag Heuer after their little spat? I do love a bit of paddock drama. It's always good fun, especially when Cyril Beatsball was around when he was at Renault. Mr. Raging Bull up to 7th position now, and Mr. Raging Bull also showing me I know absolutely didn't squat about these tyres, because I thought Mr. Raging Bull was going to struggle. And this is interesting because Mr. Raging Bull started on the hard tyres and went to mediums, and he has driven superbly well, hasn't he, Mr. Raging Bull? As we're on board now with the Alpine driver, a superb stuff indeed. Into the pits comes Jenna, the penalty situations like this. Cameron's got 6 seconds of penalties, so Nigel needs to get his skates on now because at the moment there he is going to still finish in 5th position. So Nigel, if he's got any electrical deployments in that Haas car, needs to really put his toe down. And was Mr. Rage in the wall there? That was a glancing blow at the barrier. As much as I just praised Mr. Raging Bull, sadly I forgot about his penalty, and he's going to fall behind Kaidal, but should stay in front of Soft. Excuse me, my noisy. I don't even know who Wally is, to be honest, but my noisy boy racer outside. Sloth in 9th position now. 10th is Luke at the moment, so Luke has recovered back into the points there, and potentially he's got a car which has got all its pieces in the right direction, unlike Sloth, who's lost an end plate, and because of that, I think that Luke might be able to elevate himself up to 9th position, because of course Sloth also has a 3-second penalty, and now up into 6th position goes Mr. Raging Bull. Nigel had to, Nigel losing the back there. I think Nigel's very much on the cusp of losing his tyres there. Now Mr. Raging Bull does not, and he's having to defend here. That's not ideal, because Mr. Raging Bull would like to try and get within 3 seconds of Camera Racer. I still think it's a long shot. Great drive from Camera on his 200th Grand Prix today. I tip my payoff to you, good sir. Fantastic job indeed. As we are now approaching, the McLaren's already at the far end of the circuit here, so we're watching the battle for 6th and 7th position there. Nigel's got no purchase left on those tyres. Kaidal will move up into 6th position. As it's at the moment, he just needs to stay within 3 seconds of Mr. Raging Bull. I'm not going to make no bunch about it. I'm so glad that Kaidal's got found some speed this season. He's had 2 seasons where Kaidal was really struggling. Halfway through last season, Kaidal found something. Of course, in the Dutch Grand Prix, he was superb and deserved to get some points that day. But on this game now, Kaidal has really had a torrid 2 years in silver, but now he's really finally reaping the rewards. And potentially, Kaidal, if his progression is anything like this season, he could be on for podiums and wins next season. But today is Meyranov's day, out of the final turn, and he wins the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. It's another clinic for McLaren. It's a 1-2 for the McLaren-Mercedes partnership, and it is a Meyranov second win, and his second win of his career, his second win in a row as well for Meyranov, emulated Lewis Hamilton. And the McLaren team are starting to dominate silver. That's 2 races now here in the Middle East of Bahrain, and now in Saudi Arabia, where it's been a McLaren 1-2, and they have dominated proceedings once again. And my goodness gracious me, it's going to take an awful lot of might and brain power to stop the team from Woking dominate this championship, because Meyranov is dominated again, and he did run off. He never looked back. He basically from pole position to checkered flag. It's a clinic in Grand Prix racing. My goodness me. And his 4th podium of his career as well. Fantastic stuff from Meyranov, with Markey getting 2nd position today. Kiki on the podium for the first time this season as well. Then, so good stuff indeed there for the drivers. Did Duke finish the race there? I was not paying attention. Right, let's take a look. Where is Duke? Did he crash on the pit lane? No, I think no, he did finish the race. I don't know where Duke finished that because I wasn't paying attention. Good shift, McLaren, says Chazza then. As hello there, General Chazza. You are a bold one. Meyranov, 2 wins in 2 races, 2 wins in 4 Grand Prix, 3 wins in 4 Grand Prix for the McLaren team. My goodness gracious me. McLaren, second 1-2 in 2 weeks, then Meyranov, the Grand Prix winner, fast lap for Gordo, getting that point now. Irvine, driver of the day, most overtakes for Favre. Cleanest driver for Meyranov, who basically didn't see anyone else in that race. Second Grand Prix win of his career there for Meyranov, with Markey in 2nd position, with 3rd in Kiki then. The top 3 in the qualifying, top 3 in the race, Tori in 4th position there. Cameron in 5th position, Nigel in 6th, great drive from Nigel. 7th position is Kaidal, 8th position is Mr. Raging Bull, with Luke in 9th position. 10th position position is Slother. Great return from Slother. Great stuff indeed. 11 for Jay Ings, Irvine 12th, Jenner 13th, Riley 14th, Gordon gets fast enough in 15th position there. 16th for Farth with Duke somewhere in between. Investor in 18th position. Retirements was Coop, as in Soup, and Dandan, both retired then from the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. Right, let me get my cable sorted. And where is my stream, actually? I've lost my stream, unfortunately. That's not good. Whoops. But what a race that was there. And I think there's going to be shockwaves in silver, because I think Mayranov has taken the lead in the championship, if I'm not very much mistaken there. Of course, another safety carless Grand Prix as well. And I must say, driving has been seamless. Feels a bit like IndyCar, if anyone watched the opening couple of races in IndyCar, where there wasn't many safety cars, all cautions, all full course cautions. And because of that, and because of that, then the races may have been a bit processional there. But I got to be honest, the McLaren could have been on a two-stopper in that race. They were dominating there. Maybe not extreme then, but they were certainly really good indeed, weren't they? Fantastic stuff for. Fantastic stuff for the McLaren team, and I think the Mayranov has taken in the championship after a horror. No, he hasn't. He is second at the moment. Markey has taken the lead in the championship by 3 points from Duke, who's now in second. After technical gremlins of Duke has cost him the lead in the World Championship. Tomorrow night, a quick preview of what is to come in bronze tomorrow night. Then Rosa Sky leads the championship by 3 points from Dynamo Dan, with Hungry Stars elevating himself up in the third position as well. It's Jamie in fourth position, with Smithfield Mighty fifth, Serious Musher in sixth, Sansom, Rocket League Reflections, and Anthony completes the top 10 there. That is bronze tomorrow night. And of course, on Wednesday, we've got more event league racing as well then, as it was superb stuff indeed then. Of course, we've got, I think you have to use 3 types of tires, or you have to use the hard tires, I believe. But however, I should probably have read that before, and I can't really remember what race we're at either. That's shocking stuff indeed. Right, I think that's it then for me. Thank you very much. Who's driver of the day then? I was thinking about Nigel, but I'm going to give it to the Grand Prix winner, May run off, because basically he did run off pole position to checker flag. He was unstoppable today, and to be fair, I think he was in a class of one. Boring selection, maybe, but less deserved, absolutely not. Driver of the day, May run off. Fantastic stuff indeed. I'm going for the bed, but I'm not as sweaty as I was last night. Fantastic stuff indeed. You'll see me next Sunday for Miami then, of course, so get a bit of Will Smith vibes going on there. Cannot wait for that one. That's going to be superb stuff indeed. I'm going now. Goodbye.